Friends, Hunger by Knut Hamsun. This is a novel, a Norwegian novel, Hunger. The novel is written in the first person, is partly autobiographical. It depicts events from 1886 in Christiania, now Oslo, where Hamsun was on the verge of starvation. The narrator lives in a miserable little room in attic where he is constantly plagued by hunger pangs. A beginner writer, he tries to earn giving articles, notes, satires in newspaper, but it is not enough for life. So he falls into complete destitution. He wastefully reflects on how slowly and steadily he's rolling downhill. It seems the only way out is to find a steady income, and he starts to study advertisement in newspaper on the hiring. But in order to take the place of cashier, a deposit is required and he has no money. In the firefighter is not taken because he wears glasses. The narrator is experiencing weakness, dizziness, nausea, chronic hunger causes excitement. He is wound up, neurotic, and irritable. During the day, he likes to spend time in the park where he ponders over themes for future work, making sketches, strange thoughts, words, images, fantastic pictures are sweeping through his mind. He has already pawned everything he had, household domestic trifles, all the books when the auctions are held. He entertains himself by watching in whose hands move his things. If they got a good master, he feels satisfied. Heavy, prolonged hunger causes the improper behavior of the narrator. He often goes against established worldly standard, following a sudden impulse. He gives his jacket to the money lender and hands money to a beggar crippled and lonely starving continues to ferment among the masses of well-fed people and is acutely aware of the complete disregard of others. He is overfilled with sketches of new article, but the editors reject his work. He chooses two abstract themes. Newspaper readers are not hunters to abstruse reasoning. Hunger torments him constantly, and to soothe it, he chooses sliver or suck stones and even blackened orange peel. His eyes catches the announcement that there is a place of an accountant, but it is a failure again. Reflecting on his misadventures, the narrator asks, why has God chosen him for his existence? And came to a disappointing conclusion. Apparently, just decided to ruin him. He has nothing to pay for an apartment and is in danger to be on the street. It is necessary to write an article. This time it certainly will be taken, and with received money, it will be possible to survive. But as if on purpose, the work does not move, the right word do not come, but finally he found a successful praise. And the next morning, 15 pages are ready. He experiences a kind of euphoria. The narrator expects the review and it is accepted. He gets 10 kronas. But this fee is not enough for making two ends meet. Landlady recommends him to find another place to live, and he is forced to spend the night in the forest. An idea to give up the blanket that had once been borrowed from a friend comes to his mind, but it is the only remaining asset, so he refuses. As the narrator is forced to carry a blanket with him, he comes into the store and asks the clerk to pick it in paper. Faced with his fight on the street, with his friend on the street, he assures that he has got a good place and bought the fabric for a suit. Such meetings make him realize how pathetic his appearance is. He suffers the indignity of his position. Hunger becomes a constant companion. Physical suffering causes frustration, anger, resentment. Unsuccessful are all the attempts to get at least some money. Almost on the verge of hungry, fainting, the narrator thinks of going into a bakery and asks for food, asks for a bread. Then he begs the butcher of a bone, ostensibly for his dog, and turning in the back alley tries to gnaw it. Once he has to look for an overnight stay at the police station under the false pretext that he stayed too long in the coffee shop and have lost the keys to the apartment. The narrator spends in the private chamber a terrible night, realizing that he is close to madness. In the morning, he angrily watches the detainees distributing food stamp. He himself, unfortunately, does not receive one because the day before, not wanting to be seen as a homeless trump, he introduced himself to the policeman as a journalist. The narrator thinks about moral issues at that point without any compunction. He would pick up the coin dropped by a poor widow, even if it was her last coin. On the street, he is faced with newspaper editor who, out of sympathy, gives him a certain amount of money in the account of future fee. This helped the narrator to regain roof over his head. Hesitantly, he comes into the shop of a candle, which he intends to ask for a loan. He is working hard day and night long. The clerk, by mistake, gives him with a candle some change. Not believing the unexpected luck, the poor writer in a hurry leaves the store. But the shame hurts him, and he gives money to an old woman selling pies. After a while, he decided to repent, clerk of the crime, but he is not met with understanding and is taken for a madman. One day, staggering from hunger, he finds this old woman, hoping to eat at least a little. He once did for good and can count on responsiveness. But the old woman meets him with swearing and drives him away. Once the narrator meets in the park two women and follows them behaving impudently and rather silly. He calls one of the women Lajali, a meaningless musical sounding name, transmitting the woman's charm and mystic, but their relationship was not destined to evolve. They cannot overcome disunity. Again, miserable, hungry existence, mood swings, the usual isolation pursue the narrator. Having decided that he needs to change his life radically, the narrator enters as a sailor on the ship. So, this is the story of the hunger, a man who suffers the destitution. So, the theme involved in this novel is conscience and pride. Conscience and pride of the narrator alternately are with varying success, fighting hunger. He was given someone else change to 5 krona, enough money not to worry about food and lodging for several days. He takes them, but soon it begins to torment his conscience. So much that he gives the money the first meat street vendor, then full of pride goes further temporarily without thinking that he had nothing to eat. Then emotions subside and his hunger descends to him. The narrator returns to the tradeswoman and under the indignant eyes blushfully eats pies excusing that he had paid in advance. Either like the entire story runs, and when he gets some money, he can throw it in the face of the landlady who had hurt his pride, or give it to the first poor meat on the street. He lives always in a rush and ruled by impulses. Hunger, the monologue of the narrator with a stunning clarity transmit his mental state. Hunger gnaws into his mind like a wild animal in the soft flesh of a victim, pulls apart, licking the blood and creeping, greening, prolonged, unbearable hunger turns him into an inadequate being, which leaves the body, freeing it from hunger. It's not him, but hunger that walks among the well-fed, sleek from fat citizen experiencing in 1 minute anger and the urgent need to cause someone pain, humiliate, offend, tell a lie, a compliment, give something bold, politely smile. The other, the theme, lie, it is lie. The narrator is an incorrigible liar, as says, I don't know why I lied. My thoughts fluttered about disconnectedly and inspired me with singularly whims more than I knew what to do with. I hit upon this on the spur of the moment and blurted it out without any calc. He lies everyone, everywhere. But it is not just that he likes to deceive people. He does it because his pride is hurt, ain't it, when accepting his miserable position. He admits that he is under very difficult condition, but he does not want the other to think the same. And this how this the the character of this hero, the name of this character is Lily, a man character of the story. Lily never reveal his name. He is a poor journalist making to and pursuing the career of art. He is painfully experiencing the discrepancy between the ideal and the material world. His soul hovers somewhere high, but the body forced to live in that deplorable condition. His manuscripts are refused to be printed, but he does not stop trying to write a masterpiece. Even at the moment of despair, when he has been starving for several days and goes to extreme trying to bit off his finger, his dream did not let him surrender. At the same time, he tries to live with a clear conscience, does not accept charity, and is ready to provide assistance to needy. It would seem he is a great man and deserve to be respected. But all is not so simple. The coin has another side. The protagonist is the hero, the protagonist is the terrible egotist, and his nobility and honesty are quite insincere, emotional outburst. It is an attempt to gratify his ambitions. He likes to make people feel silly themselves, deceive them. He takes inspiration as something granted, as thing that God is obliged to provide him with. And it is God who is, in his opinion, is to blame for all the creative failure. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the story of the hunger and by Knut Hamsun. I hope you will enjoy this novel. Thank you.